Hello and welcome to BonkTable. I'm Mass and this is our Conquest Battle Report. These battle reports going forward are going to be using the new stuff. I think there is going to be some older battle reports that I'm going to edit and send out that you've probably already seen that are before this. Yeah. It was one of those things where I had so much content saved up and then I just stopped editing because I had so much saved up and I'm like, oh, I should probably edit these and get them out. And now I'm actually getting into proper content or more up-to-date stuff. It's just, I don't know, I like to get the backlog out of there. I was just doing so much content in August that I was like, oh, maybe I should increase releases, but I'm like, no, I'll need this when I'm busy. And then I got busy. I'm playing Dweghom. I have chosen, I invoke the Frenzy Flame ending. I'll get into this in a moment. And my opponent is playing Wadrhun, and he is playing the Four Musketeers. So, here's the list. Dweghom List, I invoke the Frenzy Flame ending. It is very, very, very simple, but also really good. It's a Hold Ready Warlord, and the reason for the Hold Ready Warlord is his supremacy ability in the presence of the Memomancers has changed so that it makes all the light scoring what was before, but he doesn't have to be on the battlefield or alive to have that activated. He just needs to be the Warlord, so you no longer need to have him come on turn 2. Or turn 1, and you no longer need to keep them alive the entire time to have all your light score. So this frees up actually a lot of what you can do with the list and where you can move stuff. This list is going to be mainly a huge positioning game, but everything can score, and the mediums are going to be scoring crazy more, and I'll get into that in a moment. So that's it, that's him, that's all he's doing. There is literally no upgrades in this list, it's all just regiments and characters. Running double hold warriors, they got standard and vanguard. Vanguard was actually really nice. So hold warriors are probably overcosted for what they're actually doing. They're basically men-at-arms, but 25 points more for an extra wound. And now for vanguard. Vanguard's nice. It, allows them to run up there and score, cap a zone, or get in the way, or fill a hole, or, do whatever. But you're not, winning anything with these guys, so they're really just there to unlock what we really want, the double Ironclad Drake. Double Ironclad Drake is actually really, really good. People, for some reason, don't like this thing, and it's pretty understandable when you roll 12 attacks and you end up with, 15 hits. And it has actually, really good output at Cleave 2, Terrifying 2. You'll just start ripping through people. On top of that, I don't even know how to say this. Ogham? I think it's Ogham. Ogham is eternal. All the command stands and characters reroll their attacks. You're going to be running with a ton of command stands and characters, so that's going to be really nice when you remember it. The problem is remembering it, because it's an 8-inch bubble. Alright, that's his whole warband. That was really easy. Next, we have Kirawa. It's got the four spells, the score spell, the rally spell, the -1 resolve spell, and the don't score spell. I don't remember which is which, but those are what they do. Then you're running double Flame Berserks. Sadly, Flame Berserks went down to resolve 4. Not the end of the world. I believe they also lost 10 points from 170 to 160, which is a little nice and frees up points to get to exactly 2,000 and run all this. And everyone has built-in standards, so that's also really nice. Then you got a unit of Magma Forge. And then, for the third warband and final warband, you hit the duplicate button and do it again. Because 4 scoring Flame Berserkers is really nice. So, how this list works is basically, the Hold Ray gives all the command stands +2 stands for seizing. So all the Flame Berserkers are +2 stands. That also means there are 5 stands for contesting if the full MSU is there. This also gives +2 stands of scoring on the mediums and heavies and the characters. So, Argent Kirawa, in a unit of Magma Forge, is 4 stands baseline, +2 for the character, +2 for the command, so you're now at 8 stands of seizing. What's insane on a 4-stand regiment, what really allows you to just kind of get into a zone and just take it and be like, yo dog, come at me. The Aura of Death change, now that I've kind of played around with it at 4, doesn't feel so bad considering it used to be 6 at an MSU, but now it's just consistently 4. So if you're at full strength or only have 1 stand left, you're still doing 4 Aura of Death, and that little bit of chip damage does help when you're trying to finish stuff off, and I really do enjoy that. Magma Forge, Cleave 2 is relevant just because there's more Harden is coming into the game, especially on the monsters. You're seeing like Harden 1 on a lot of stuff, so having that Cleave 2 allows you to put that extra bit of damage in. You know, being Clash 3, Inspiring to 4, they're still going to do a ton of work. And they have the same defensive stats as Flame Berserk, so... yeah? I don't know. They're all also like Speed 6 with a banner. Like, everyone has a banner, what's really nice, so they're like shooting up the table. So you have a very fast, pretty durable... like, I'm not going to say it's, like, the super tankiest thing, but, like, one-on-one wise, they're going to do very well, all the Dweghom stuff. So they're really nice for, like, piece trading, and you have a bajillion of them, and they can all score. So that's kind of the whole point of it. So what you're trying to do is you're kind of, like, set it up so that your opponent either comes into you and dies because it's bogged down and swarmed by Flame Berserkers, or you just kind of swarm them and rip them apart because you have a bunch of Flame Berserkers. And then you start scoring zones. And that's it. That's the whole point of the list. That's why it's invoking the Frenzied Flame ending. Big head, no thoughts. It's all the thoughts are into positioning, so you don't have to deal with any special rules because you don't really have a whole amount. Like, Dweghom is Eternal, just check 8 inches around the Drake to the Regiment to see if you're re-rolling. I forget about it, I think in one place. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I forget about it in one place, or maybe 2, I'm not exactly sure. But I don't know, just remember your rules. Alright, scroll down, scroll over the rules, pause at any time, you know, do the thing. That's it. Okay, cool, we're done. Let's go to the Wadrhun List, because I feel like I'm going to talk about that one more. Alright, here is my opponent's Wadrhun List, the 4 Musketeers. We got a Chieftain Warlord, so that's going to give him, I believe, Vanguard on everyone? Oh man, I got to go through all this stuff, like what Crushing Forces again. You know, we did a 4-hour podcast, Cass and I, about all this, and, like, I've forgotten so much about that because it was 4 hours long. Wadrhun, Chieftain, Crushing Force. When a friendly infantry the Tribes regiment within 10 inches of this character stand, against the battle grad gains +2 impact special roll. That's pretty nice. Tempo, what do you do? Infantry the Tribes gain Vanguard. That's nice. Okay. Tribes Pride. Yep, the reroll on vets and the character. And Coordinated Assault. The range of the Crushing Force changes to cover the entire battlefield. Now affects all the Tribes regiments down. Yeah, okay. So you're getting a bunch of Vanguard. And his... was it his Crushing Force? Was that the impact? That was the impact thing, right? Yeah. Yes, the impact thing. Kind of goes to everyone who's the Tribes. That's going to affect a ton of people. It doesn't actually say their, in the PDF, their keyword. I just noticed. While I think in the Army Builder it does. So Parabellum might have to get on that. Chieftain, you're death 1. Okay, Army Builder, you're killing me now. Alright, Chieftains, Warbands, and Death. Then he's got Death Glaze, what I believe gives you even more impact attacks. Now I'm going to have to pull this up. I don't want to just keep scrolling up and down searching for stuff when I can just do it on my phone. Yep, you get Impact 3. Nice. And then you get +2, so everyone's going to have Impact 5 on that big veteran block of 5 guys. So that's going to be good. And then Cure, I believe, gives you Deadly Blades. I'm going to find it, don't worry. Yep, the regiment gains Deadly Blades, so that's also really good. So that's going to be a hard-hitting guy, and then when they chant to tier 2, or I guess, yeah, tier 2 death, they're going to be rerolling 6s defensively on their defense 3 because of the shield, so veterans are going to be doing really well. These got slingers, these guys all have Vanguard. Yeah, stop that. Slingers, I'm not disappointed in slingers or anything. It's more like they've been toned down so they're not ridiculous anymore. Like, they used to be Barrage 3. They're still Volley 3, or sorry, Barrage 4. With the effective, like the singing bullets to get up to effective range, they go back up to Barrage 4. But that also requires your opponent to, like, chant. What may be a problem if you mess up their chant sequence. So as the opponent, you want to kill stuff to prevent them from chanting and mess up their chant sequence. So they don't get effective range, so they're just Volley 3, Barrage 3, because Barrage 3 is not going to be doing a whole ton. They still have their special rule of every 2 hits deals another hit, but you're no longer taking resolve damage after all that, so you're actually going to have more things live, what I do like. So it's not as oppressive as it was before, but slingers are still very good, especially with the Vanguard, because you can just shoot them at the table at the beginning of the game and just get them in position and just unload, because they're still range 18. Then we got a Predator. We're running Famine. Hide of the Silent Hunter. Oh boy, you do something if I recall. I remember going through all this. Where are you, Hide? Opportunist. Okay, you know. Shots in the flank with slingers, also really good. So that'll be really nice. And what's this in warband? Hunting pack and slingers. So here's the... Okay. Hit Predators, slingers, they're going to be fine. Same thing, but now with a Predator and rerolls in the flank. Hunting pack. Okay, so there's a 3 activation limit on a regiment now. The hunting pack has Vanguard and Fluid. So you're going to have to double march and not get the Vanguard, or sorry, the Fluid. Turn 1. Well, it's not the end of the world, to be honest. Just because you're so fast, you're going to be like 24 inches up the table. And then turn 2, you activate first action Fluid, second action Charge, third action Clash, or, you know, March, or whatever you're going to be doing. So it's not the end of the world for how speedy this thing is. It's just you're not going to have that shoot up the table Fluid anymore. But I don't think it's going to matter that much because of how fast the hunting pack are. I'm not feeling it because, like, Vanguard, use the Vanguard for the third action, turn 1, and then, you know, turn 2 and onward, use Fluid Formation. That's really it. We got the Scion. Where the tribe did this guy put a different upgrade on every character because he's running 4 characters. Where the tribe? Where are you? Horn, Roar. Okay. Infantry regiments with the character is currently attached to gain the Cult of Conquest at tier 2, gain the Bless special rule. Oh, that's actually really good. That is actually really, really good. I don't think my opponent did that this game. I think he did. He might have chanted tier 2 or he might have chanted tier 1 because he just needs to chant to activate the Chosen Conquest triple activation stuff. But that Bless is still really good. Keeps him alive. The defense 3, and then I believe Cult of Conquest tier 2 puts him up to evasion 2 with Bless, so they'll be living a little longer. They went down wounds. Like, Chosen kind of got hit just because they were kind of a huge pain in the ass. They were just shooting across the table really fast, getting into people, killing, and then being evasion 3 with 7 wounds is just taking forever to kill, especially in big blocks. So they're doing a lot of work that way. Now, they've been pulled back a bit. They're still really good because they still get 3 actions. Their evasion isn't going to 3, it's going to 2, so there's more damage that's going to get through. You know, 7, or they used to be 7, now they're 6, so they're going to die a little faster. The thing about them, though, is you can still have them shoot across the table and get into somebody. They're still Clash 3, Cleave 1, and with 5 attacks. They're still going to be really good that way. Especially the Scion, who now has a proper gun in, I believe, Cacophony. What's just an attunement 4 spell. So he's going to get that off pretty easily. It's not like some other people's spells who are attunement 3, and I'm just like, God damn it. You used to be the worst wizard, now you're actually kind of a competent wizard. Lastly, we got a Blooded with the Abbot Armorator? I don't even know how to say this. He's got the one remaining character officer for the Blooded. This guy, I believe, just gives you an extra chant in the sequence. Yep, you add an extra chant token. Nice job. That's it. Oh, they're fine. Blooded are fine. Things they got, I believe, did they get any bonuses? I'm looking at this now. No, they're still Clash 2. Still have 6 attacks. Still 5 wounds. Yeah, still defense 2, evasion 1. Yeah. Yeah, I think they didn't really change. They just got a free banner. And lost out on like 5 different officers. So, there's a toss-up between the Braves and the Blooded right now of which one's better, and I think it's the Braves. I think the Braves are going to come out on top than the Blooded currently because of the loss of Bloodlust on the Braves. Lastly, Thunder Chieftain in War. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. They have Juggernaut on those Thunder Riders. It was a fun little read. So Thunder Chieftain, there you are, in War, good old War. Artifacts, the Horn. So you're gonna get, when the Cavalry Regiment is currently attached, chance to Cult of War tier 2, they gain Trample 2. So these Thunder Riders are gonna gain are gonna be at Trample 4, which is really good. And then lastly, Resilience is gonna give them all Harden 1. War is kind of set up just to give Thunder Riders a bunch of buffs when you chant, what I've been noticing. And a lot of their equipment and artifacts are there to make Thunder Riders better. But don't get me wrong, super cool. But also, goddamn, when these things come, get a guaranteed 11-inch charge, you can just kind of like sit out 11 and be like, well, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Yeah, there's a really devastating charge. They have flank, yeah, that's devastating charge. I gotta learn all this stuff now. Fun. Thunder Rider. There you are. Devastating charge. Should the regiment perform a march action immediately followed by a charge, they get the brutal impact +1. Oh boy. Oh boy. And if the Thunder Chieftain was the warlord, he would have given them all shock, so he would have been higher. Wow, you can really do a mean Thunder Rider brick. Because this thing charges. They're gonna be brutal 4 impacts each at brutal 3. Then they're going to be trampling 4, and they have hardened 1. Oh, God. And they have 6 moves. Yeah, this is. Oh, Thunder Riders. Thunder Riders, you're so mean. I like them, don't get me wrong. They're very good, and you can build them to be very good, but man, they are mean. It's also very points expensive. Like, all these upgrades, and it's just, and an MSU plus a character is 420 points. Like, it's very expensive, but if you do it right, you can just hammer your way through anything. And last, we got another blood. Oh, Thunder Riders don't have a banner, but they do have Juggernaut, so here we go. Okay, overall, I like the list. I think it has to focus in on stuff. It has too many characters. I think either the Predator or the Scion needs to be dropped, and my opponent needs to correlate his regiments more, because it's basically a character in 2 regiments each. And the characters are eating up too many points, what can go to other things. So I think you got to go to the 3 Musketeers instead of the 4 Musketeers. So that's really it. But overall, I like what Wadrhun's doing now, and I like that they all have kind of their specialty, and a lot of stuff is pretty strong. They just need to kind of get it off and into me. So let's follow the rules, and we'll, you know, not you or me. You'll pause the video at any time to read a rule that I didn't talk about, or, you know, build the list in your phone. I don't know. Do whatever you want. You're an adult. Oh my God, this keeps going. This guy has way more special rules than I do. Okay, there we go. Let's get into the game. All right, so we're playing melee. Nice and easy. You know, you got your 4 zones. You got your 9 inchers, what are scoring 3 on. You got your 6 inches that you're scoring 2 on. If you get 2 of them, you're getting an extra 2 points. And then 2 for their character, 2 for the regiment, 2 for the warlord. Nice and easy. 9 times out of 10, I tell people, you know, capture this, push out, do really good. I don't do that. This game, I decide to go wide. So I start putting, like, pressure here. And I start seeing my opponent counter deploy. My opponent starts, you know, putting stuff here. And so I keep pushing this way. And so I start gaining 3 out of the 4 objective zones. And then I notice on the right side that this is basically uncontested and that I have a Vanguard Hold Warrior. So I just wheel that guy in to score the 4th zone. So why am I doing this instead of doing the 2/3 rule? And this is mainly because my opponent wasn't really getting on the zones very effectively, and I was pushing them out, and I was staying ahead and committing my forces, and kind of my opponent took a bit of bait by spreading out to counter me. So at one point he drops like 2 regiments over here, and I just go, oh, okay, like that's fine. I'm just taking this for free points. I was gonna take this for free points and then just like kind of run away, just because like there's no reason to keep this. But then as the boardscape developed, I was like, well, I'm kind of holding everything else. I could just put more stuff over here and take this too. But at that point, my opponent should have probably deployed more either in the middle or this way, and kind of either A, push me out instead of opening like another front. Because he needed to like collapse me, and you'll see it as the game goes on that he wasn't really able to concentrate forces onto me and get me effectively. And I believe he just needed to like pull those 2 regiments he put on the right into the 2/3 strategy and just let me have that zone, and then pushed me off the other 3. I'll do it like these 3 and claim them, and just left me with that one zone, and then just scored up to try and tie me up or just get ahead by turn 10. So that was the change in the strategy here. It's just because my opponent wasn't really was matching me toe to toe, and that wasn't really the way to play against Dweghom, especially this Dweghom that has good stats and speed and are just overall good all-rounders, and that I can just reinforce things really nicely due to the Firstborn of War rule, where I don't really care about the reinforcement line, and then on top of the Flame Berserkers just being like across the table, I had a lot of places I could go with a lot of things. So you'll see as the table develops, it'll end up looking like this. I just want to talk about that because we were playing in that orange area for a little bit, and then I noticed he hadn't deployed anything on that 9-inch, so I'm like, well, I'm just going to drop some Vanguard Warriors over there just to kind of take it, because why not? It's free money. It's free real estate. Take it. Let's get into the table. Here's the table. You got the red zones. That's all our scoring and everything. For the forest, I'm just going to do them in purple. These are hindering and obscure. So we got a bunch of ho, especially playing on the ice map. There we go. So hindering, obscuring forests. Then in orange, we got all this broken. So all these trenches here from War Machine, they're all just broken. Do they come up that much? Not really. I think I ran through it at one point and didn't take any damage. And then lastly, in blue, we got this Wada. Oh, and in black, we have the size 3 obstructions. So the table's kind of split into 3 lanes. You need to kind of push out, and then you can like get around, or you can kind of like, you know, I'll do it in this color. You can just like fight in between and just kind of hold the line. There's that. So I'm not 100% on the obstruction placement, just because it splits the table a lot, and you kind of have to like figure out what you want to commit. And yeah, that's about it. I know all my lights score, so I'm looking to like capture the zones pretty quickly, especially do it. Ooh, I don't know. Do it in this brown color, especially these ones, just because it's closer to me, and that's usually what I do anyway. And then push out. And that's what I started, but then I realized on the right side that nothing was really going over there, and I'm like, sneaky, get this, because I just decided to play with a Vanguard. Sweet, free money. Alright, with that, let's get into turn 1. Yay, here's turn 1. So, I have 4 Flame Berserkers, I only get 2 Flame Berserkers. We are starting to call this the Rollo Curse, so if you are a Dweg player, and you ever roll poorly for reinforcement rolls, just blame it on Rollo. It's the Rollo Curse, that's how this works. He takes full responsibility. My opponent gets his Predator and Slingers, so I believe he gets the roll-off, or no, I think I get the roll-off, and he's like, I'm like, Flame Berserks, and he's like, Predator, and I'm like, more Flame Berserks, then he does the Slinger. So, first things first, I'm looking to control these zones, so I'm just kind of like beelining for them. These Flame Berserks are just hiding out in the woods, because there's no reason to come out. And he's got guns. He Vanguards up super far, as you can see, getting ready to counteract me in both. For some reason he thought I had guns, and the reason why I believe he thinks that is because I had a Hellbringer Drake proxied as an Ironclad. After this game I went and bought another Ironclad, so that guy's built and ready to go. I just need to paint him like everyone else in this beautiful weird hippie style as it's been dubbed. And yeah, he could have had, so not could have, but like what he should have had is he had both Slingers hanging out. Let's not do that. Let's do purple. He could have had the second Slinger unit hanging out here, and then that'll allow him to like just blitz down a unit really easily, and then he could just like also focus here. Do I have an eraser tool? I have no idea. I've never used it before. Look at this. Oh boy! Let's not do that. But anyway, they could have sat like that. Oh, you know what? Screw it. This is amazing. So he could have sat like that on that white line and just, you know, shot out from there into this side, helped the other ones, killed off those Flame Berserks, and then transition this way would have been better for him to do. Alright, that's really turn 1. Let's go to turn 2. Here's turn 2. Good things that happen. Both Kirawas with Magnaforge come on, and another unit of Flame Berserkers come on. Yay! So, I don't really shove up the Flame Berserkers right off the bat. The ones in the woods are fine. My opponent just kind of stalls out with his Slingers over here and doesn't do anything. He just gets a chant token. The other Slingers, though, they walk up, they shoot my flames. Boop, boop, boop. Way back here. because this is the last thing that activates is these Flame Berserk units. And then he backs off. So I'm like, oh, okay. He gets his Scion and Chosen. He's running to support this side. And I'm like, yeah, okay. You know, I'm trying to fight for the 2/3 on the left there. Nothing too crazy is going on. I then realize, after deploying both my Magnaforge to reinforce those two sides, that he hasn't committed anything to the zones. My light score. So, boom, into the zone. Boom, into the zone. These guys are just on the edge of the zone with the command stand, so I can score it. So that's 7 points for me. And I'm looking, I'll do it. I'm looking at this charge, and I'm looking at this charge. So this charge, I believe, is a 4, and this one's a 5. I have built-in banners, so I'm like, well, there's nothing else to do but go make them. Besides that, I run up these Flame Berserks. They're there to reinforce and to kind of push in more after the middle ones die. Because I'm not expecting those Flame Berserks that are currently scoring the zone to live. But if I keep putting pressure, especially on his range units, he's going to be pushed back and start collapsing. And the Magnaforge can go sit in zones and score them until I get the Hold Warriors on to replace them, and then they can push forward. So it's the score cascade, and the list does that actually pretty well. Besides that, let's go to turn, I believe, 3. Alright, turn 3. Good things happen. First things first, I win the roll-off. I get a bunch of stuff. I get 1 Hold Warrior, 1 Ironclad, and the other Flame Berserk. My opponent gets everything else on the table, so you'll see his Veterans, his 2 Blooded, and his Thunder Warriors, as well as his Hunting Pack. So first things first, I believe these Flame Berserks get into those Slingers, do a bunch of damage, and I leave the Slingers down to like 3 health left. I get the charge, and he's like, oh no. My opponent then activates the Scion, who hits them with his Scion gun. He like shouts me to death, and then he charges in with the Chosen, as you can see. He triple activates them, does a bunch of damage, clears off the Flame Berserks before the Slingers activate, before they get Aura of Death and died, because he's saving on 1s, and 4 Aura of Death would have probably killed him unless he rolled a bunch of 1s, but the likelihood of that's pretty low. So it saves the Slinger unit. Good on that. And then he just shuffles the Chosen onto the zone, so I believe he has like 2 to 3 stands on there. That's really fine. Next thing, the Flame Berserks from this zone, roll it, charge it, get in. Because there's 3 stands of them and not 2 stands of them, they just rip and kill and slaughter those Slingers. I'm like, yay! Those guys are dead. Good job them. So now they're controlling that zone. With this, it puts me really like in a really good spot in the middle. And that kind of ends up with my development here with these Flame Berserks. So these Flame Berserks, what move up into this position, are looking to fill the hole of the other Flame Berserks, so my opponent counters with his Vets as he moves them up the table. This is not a good spot for the Veterans. They're across a piece of hindering terrain, so when they charge, they're going to lose all their impacts, and they're inspired. He should have, in purple, had them over here. He should have swapped them with these Blooded. The Blooded could have gone where the Vets are, and the Vets could have gone where the Blooded are. Would have been a better play, allowing the Vets to maintain their impact attacks and still got in and did work. While the Blooded could have just ran forward, and, you know, it's not the end of the world if they're losing their Inspired or impact attacks or whatever. They're just there to kind of like, you know, be in the way, be chaff, score zones, do whatever you need them to do. This goes into my Magnaforge, who kind of just like run up, get on the zone. They're not really pushing out. They're mostly just scoring this and being available to, if the Blooded charge into the Flame Berserks, you know, the Magnaforge can run over there and clash. I'm going to have Hold Warriors on next turn because I'm still have 1 unit down, and they can go fill in that gap later because they'll be able to run 16 and touch that zone and score it. So I'm not really worried. The Magnaforge are just kind of there to support at this point. My other Magnaforge, realizing that my opponent's on the table, his Slingers go and they like shoot me, and I'm like, whatever. My other Magnaforge run up. They can't charge anything, and I didn't really want to march charge anything. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get on the zone, and I'm just going to make this super annoying. And I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stands. So I'm going to do it in orange. 7 stands on the zone, while my opponent has, in purple, 4 stands. So I'm gonna score that zone, pretty sure. I know at one moment I don't score this zone, and I don't think it's now. Yeah, no, I score that zone. Because I know this being a big score. I get all 4 zones at one point. I think it's this turn. My opponent, not liking that, deploys his hunting pack. He has some problems with the hunting pack. And I probably should talk about the other side of the table before we talk about the hunting pack, to be honest, because it was the last thing he threw on the table, same with my Ironclad. So, realizing that nothing has been deployed on the right side, I just Vanguard in the Hold Warriors. My opponent then, Vanguard comes from the side with the Blooded. This is bad on my part. I should have had these Hold Warriors rotated more, because right now, with the line, he's going to side charge me with the Blooded. I have an Ironclad, and I thought about dropping the Ironclad on the left side to support this fight, but I'm like, nah. Magma are going to kill Slingers, then Chosen are coming to Magma, then Flame Berserks need a 3, and they're going to get into the flank of the Chosen. Like, you know, it's going to go back and forth. Even with the hunting pack, I'm not super worried just because of how cramped everything is over there. Like, it's super cramped. And right now, his Chosen can't get to me because they have no place to land because of the Slingers. Like, it's a whole mess over there. So I don't feel like dropping the Ironclad over there. With the Blooded and the Thunder Riders showing up on this side, I'm like, well, Blooded, gonna do a ton of damage to Warriors, but I think an Ironclad can kill them, and if I have the Warriors left, I'll have the Ironclad, like, fight the Thunder Riders, and I just don't really care because I'm doing well elsewhere. And if it really comes down to it, I can have the second Ironclad reinforced from the side, as well as more Hold Warriors, and, like, kill the Thunder Riders, and then just dump both Ironclads, long bombing this way, eventually. So I'm not super worried. I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna put the Ironclad there. I'll just make him fight over it. So I've spread my opponent across the table at this point, but I'm on all the zones, so I'm scoring 12, I believe, right now. Yeah, 4, 6, yeah, so 12 in the bonus. So I'm super far on scoring, and I'm kind of setting it up so that I can, like, whenever he hits me, I have something to follow up and hit him back with. What puts me in a really good spot. So that's turn 3. Let's go to turn 4 and see how that all plays out. Here's turn 4. I get the rest of my list. So, as you can see, the other Drake showed up on the left. We'll talk about that one. But things that happen. So my opponent takes quite a while to build his deck. And I keep kind of swapping. Am I going to have Hold Warriors go first? Because on the right here, I'm thinking Hold Warriors charging these Blooded. Then the Drake gets on the zone. And we kind of go from there. Or am I going to have Flame Berserkers go first? Because if Flame Berserkers go first, I can have this one fight or charge forward. I can have this one go. I can have this one go, depending on how things happen. Like, I have a lot more options if Flame Berserkers go first, so I just put the Flame Berserkers on top. How this happened, or how this developed, my opponent wins the roll-off. And maybe I should have put Hold Warriors on top. I was thinking of doing Magma Forge first, to be honest, to kill the Slingers. But I was like, well, if I kill the Slingers, then you could, like, Scion. And I'm like, it's just, I have better options if I just do Flame Berserks either way. So I just do Flame Berserks. It's kind of one of those things where you're like, well, if I win, Flame Berserks are good. If I lose, Flame Berserks are still good. If I win, Magma Forge and Hold Warriors are going to just be better overall. But, like, if I lose, they're not. But, yeah. So, anyway. Vets. Charge in. Don't get impacts, don't get inspired. Drop that one stand of Flame Berserks down to one stand. Oh, no. I then activate Flame Berserks, they attack back. Opponent activates Blooded, charges into the flank of the Hold Warriors, take him down to one stand. I'm like, oh no, Hold Warriors go. I think do a couple wounds to the Blooded, nothing too crazy. Slingers go, shoot some Magna Forge, and then move over. Magna Forge go. Kurawa puts the -1 resolve spell on these guys. Yeah. And then the Magna Forge charge in. They kill a stand and knock one stand down to 1 wound. My opponent then kills all the Magma Forge. I was like, damn! Not good. So, not the end of the world. The Hunting Pack, before he killed the Magma Forge, the Hunting Pack kind of like shimmied their way over here and set up. And I was like, oh, okay. Because he's trying to prevent me from scoring. And I believe he casts, I think he casts the no score spell, or he tries to and fails, or he just casts the gun to kind of kill off more Magma Forge to secure the kill. At that point, I've dropped the Ironclad over here. I'm waiting to see what the other Thunder Riders do before I activate the other Ironclad. So the Ironclad's here, and then, you know, I start doing more Flame Berserk. So, like, this Flame Berserk charges in, kills the Hunting Pack. I forgot to reroll the Command Stand. That's my bad. Next unit of Magnaforge go. They're looking to, like, get into these guys. I need a 4. I roll 2 1s, so I just walk up an inch. I'm like... Or no, I need a 5. I roll 2 1s, so I just walk up an inch. I'm like, okay, whatever. My opponent's Blooded just kind of, like, shimmy over. He doesn't... The Flame Berserks haven't committed yet, so he's kind of just like, oh, what do I do? Where do I go? He doesn't want to come forward because the Megaforge are going to fuck him up. I'm like, yes, we will. Come forward, please. I need to kill. So that kind of goes on, and then the other unit of Flame Berserks charge in. I need like a 3 or something. I get it. I'm in. I do a bunch of damage. I don't get full stand maxing. I get 2 in a support, but I do a bunch of wounds. I break the regiment. The veterans are in a bad spot. He's got 2 scoring. Oh, over here in orange. I put the +2 scoring spell on that one remaining stand who like rallied and clashed. So they're counting as 4 scoring stands, and he has 2 stands on the zone, so I'm scoring that zone. I'm like, yeah, go Dweghom. So I'm scoring that. Hold Warriors and the whole array come up to score that and allow the Megaforce to push forward. On the left side here, this is contested. And lastly, the Ironclad just charges into the Blooded. I don't have 51% of my stand go through the woods, so I'm not affected by hindering because of the changes to the 51% or more than half or whatever you want to call it. I kill the Blooded, and I score that zone, so I get 9 points? Yeah, 9 points. This is not looking too good for my opponent. On the left there, those Flame Berserks are looking to kill those Slingers, and then I can get the Ironclad into the Chosen. In the middle, the Veterans are broken, and they're going to take Aura of Death 4. If he kills any more Flame Berserks, it's going to open up room for the Magnaforce to charge in. Thunder Riders have a bit of an issue. You know, they kind of just moved up to be within range. He's looking to try and get into the Drake. I don't care if he kills the... Well, one stand of Hold Warriors. I can just have the Drake, but I need to like win the Drake fight into the Thunder Riders. Like, I don't need to win it, but I want to win it. If the Thunder Riders sit on that zone for the remainder of the game, I'm also fine with that. Well, that's kind of where we're at. I still have a huge score lead. And let's go to turn 5. Here's turn 5. I forget who wins the roll-off. I think it might be him. I think his Blooded go. And he charges into these Flame Berserks. Doesn't do a whole ton of damage because he can't maximize the Blooded into the Flame Berserks, but he does kill off a stand and wound another one. I, in response, charge my Flame Berserks into his Slingers, killing the Slingers. His Chosen charge into the Flame Berserks, killing them, and then my Ironclad charges into the Chosen, killing them. And then I'm scoring that zone. Sweet. That's that whole debacle. In the middle, double Flame Berserk attack into the Veterans. Do a bunch of damage. They have like 2 or 3 health left, and I have like Aura of Death 8 what's going to be coming into them. These Magma 4, and then I'm looking on the right side there. I realize that my opponent can't March Charge or charge anyway to get into the Drake just because of the Hold Warrior and the Obstruction. So the Drake doesn't go. He's like my last card. It was either going to be one of those 2 Drakes, was going to be my last card. And I'm like, well, his Thunder Riders haven't gone. This Drake needs to reform at some point and start heading that way, but he's safe right now. And I'm fine with him killing that one set of Hold Warriors because I'm just going to, charge and get in, and then that's going to prevent his impact attacks, and I'll be good. And before the Veterans go, my opponent calls it. He knows he's going to take a ton of Aura of Death and probably lose that last stand of Veterans, who are down to like 3 wounds or something. And at that point, I haven't had my Magnaforge gone, so they're looking to get into these Blooded. I would have just... It's a 4 to get in, so if I got it, I would have just like swung around here and touched it, and then gone to town with those Blooded. Ray and his Warriors hadn't gone yet, so... But my opponent calls at this point. I'm scoring... 1, 2... 4 zones still, so, and my opponent's losing a lot of stuff, so he can't really catch up. And that's kind of the game. Let's go to the score. Here's the score. I gotta do a little bit of math. Here is my list. So I will be getting additional points. So as you can see, it's 40 points just in scoring, and this is just turn 5. My opponent killed the Magma Forge, the Ardent Kurawa, the Flame Berserks. That's 6 off the top of my head. I think that's 6 points. Because the Ray, Double Holds were still alive, both Ironcads were still alive. 2 units of Flame Berserks were still alive. Oh, he would have killed another Flame Berserk, so that would have been 8. And 2 flames, yeah, so that would have been 8 points. Yeah, no, he did kill 2. Yeah, so there. So you got 8 points. I got the 1 Slingers, Predator, and Slingers, and that. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I get an additional 14, so that would take me to 54. So I don't think my opponent would be coming back. Well, he could come back, like if he tabled me and then scored a bunch of the zones, but at this point it was not looking good for him. Some of the mistakes that kind of led here for my opponent was that there was 3 of them throughout the game that I noticed. It was that the Slingers were not beside each other. He split the Slingers and he should have had them together. His Veterans and Blooded in the middle should have been swapped. His Thunder Rider and Blooded that went for that right side zone should have not necessarily been less, but maybe gone towards the middle and tried to pull me out. So if I ever like went deeper, he could have gone in more and had a peace trade happen where like he goes in, I go in, he goes in, I go in, he goes in, I go in. Like, you know, keep that peace trade cascade going. So it could have been better there, but I forced him to spread and he took the bait, what limited a lot of his options. His hunting pack were in a tough spot because they didn't really have any clear ideas. They came on fairly late, what sucked for him because usually you want them pretty early so they can just run around and do whatever. And I feel like they would have probably had a better time on the right side in retrospect because he had just more free movement there and there was less stuff to get in the way. So like the Blooded would have got engaged, he would have killed, and then he could have sent in the hunting pack to finish off those Hold Warriors. And he could have just given up the right side and tried to make a push to get the right side, because then it would have just been the Ironclad. And at that point, he kills the Hold Warriors and trades Blooded for Hold Warriors. And then Hunting Pack and Thunder Riders come in, and he can use the Hunting Pack to stall out to get the Thunder Riders to kill it. And then he has the right side, but then he's sitting there scoring with the Riders. It's not really good because you want them to hammer. So it's just things that cascaded on each other, and I just took advantage of it. For myself, the Flame Berserkers that went on the left side to follow up with the Magna Forge, where that Scion was and those Slingers were, I could have side deployed them, and I forgot to do so because they would have been further up and been more relevant and in a better spot to contest and fight. I remember that, and then next turn, that's why the Drake like side deploys, because I'm just like, well, I forgot it last turn, I'm just gonna do it this turn. I thought about running a Drake right up the middle, to be honest. I probably didn't need to, and I'm glad I didn't, but there was the thought about that. The Drake on the right side was very much like, I want to clear this off, I want to have these Hold Warriors sit here. This is kind of like a freebie kill, and then I can have this Drake like just run around and eventually get back into the fight. And then secure the zone. But it also made my opponent split, like 3 resources away from the rest of the fight. Yeah. I think I did pretty good. The long bomb charges that I normally don't go for, I went for just because I had a banner, and it was like, well, damned if I do, damned if I don't. If I like get shot, I don't really want to get shot anymore, and I want to keep pushing all the Flame Berserks. So I kind of went for it, and it paid out. So yeah, that's really the game. Thank you for watching. if you're interested, like and subscribe, join the BonkTable Discord in the description below. Watch something else, watch the podcast, bother Cassandra on her Twitter, and I hope you guys all have a great day. Bye!